I don't remember the moment I woke up. Only the sound that dragged me back from sleep. A whisper. Soft. Careful. Almost rehearsed. Relax, it's okay, my wife murmured. First, I thought she was talking to me. I rolled over half asleep, reaching across the bed. But the sheets beside me were cold. Her voice wasn't in the room. It was down the hallway, behind the barely cracked door of her home office. It was 2 a.m. And then, right after her whisper, a man's voice answered. Deep, low, confident. My heart slammed into my ribcage so hard I felt the impact in my fingertips. For a few seconds I froze there in bed trying to convince myself I hadn't heard what I heard. Maybe it was a YouTube video. Maybe her brother called. Maybe a coworker needed something urgently. My mind raced for excuses one after another, piling up so fast they toppled over each other. But her voice, the softness, the tenderness, it wasn't how she talked to coworkers. It wasn't how she talked to her brother. It was how she talked to me back when she still loved me without hesitation. I slipped out of bed and crept toward the door, the wood floor cool under my feet. The crack of light from her office painted a thin, accusing line across the hallway. Her voice dropped again, too low to make out. His voice responded, clearer this time, amused. Missed you tonight. A fist closed around my stomach. I didn't push the door open. I didn't say a word. I just stood there, listening to the muffled, intimate tone two people share when they believe the world is asleep. Eventually, I walked back to bed. But sleep never came. The signs I ignored. Looking back, the signs had been there. The late-night deadlines. The face-down phone, always on silent. The sudden insistence on long walks alone to clear her head. The extra effort in her makeup, subtle but intentional. Every time my gut whispered something was wrong, I smothered it with trust. She'd never given me a reason to doubt her. Or maybe I never let myself look closely enough to see one. When she returned to bed around 3 a.m., she moved gently, like she didn't want to wake me. But I kept my breathing steady, pretending. She slipped under the blanket with a sigh that didn't sound tired. It sounded peaceful. Content. I felt her warmth inch toward me, her hand hovering near my arm like she wanted to touch me but didn't. My chest tightened. Something had broken between us, something only I seemed to feel. The evidence. The next morning I woke before her. A knot of dread sat in my stomach, heavy and sour. I walked to her office, trying to look casual even though no one could see me perform the lie. On her desk, her laptop screen was still open, dimmed, not locked. A message thread glowed faintly. I shouldn't have looked. But betrayal has a gravity of its own, pulling you in whether you want to go or not. When I tapped the trackpad, the screen brightened, and her secret came to life. Can't wait to see you again. Last night wasn't enough. I love hearing your voice, even if we have to whisper. He's asleep. Call me. My veins turned to ice. Every excuse she'd given me replayed in my head, each one snapping in half like brittle twigs. This wasn't emotional confusion. This wasn't flirting. This wasn't loneliness. This was a relationship. Parallel life. One she nurtured while letting ours quietly rot. The confrontation. She found me in the kitchen, staring at nothing. Hey, she said, trying to sound normal. You're up early. I turned my phone around, her messages displayed on the screen. Her face collapsed in slow motion. The defensiveness didn't come first. Or anger. Or denial. Just fear. Then regret. Then the kind of grief you feel when you realize your actions have detonated something you can't rebuild. I'm so sorry, she whispered. It wasn't supposed to happen. I didn't mean. You whispered relax to him, I said quietly. The room went still. She closed her eyes like the words pierced her. I saw guilt on her face, real guilt. But I also saw something else. Attachment. She wasn't done with him. She wasn't in love with me, not anymore. She reached out to touch me and I stepped back. That single movement shattered her more than yelling ever could. I can't stay with someone who only whispers tenderness to me when she thinks no one else is listening, I said. Tears blurred her eyes. She tried to speak. I didn't let her. Pack a bag. I need space. The goodbye. She left that afternoon, sobbing as she walked to her car. She kept looking back like she expected me to run after her, tell her we could fix this, that we were worth saving. But the thing about betrayal is, it doesn't just break trust. It breaks stories, memories, the version of love you thought you lived in. The house felt enormous after she drove away. Quiet. But it was the right kind of quiet, honest quiet. For the first time in months, I breathed without feeling like something inside me was unraveling. I didn't shatter her out of revenge. I shattered her by showing her the truth, the one she had been running from. I deserved better than whispered promises meant for someone else. Now, I'm learning to rebuild from the silence she left behind, one honest breath at a time.